Hi, Sir Mark. Good evening. Good morning, everyone.
Nani,
Mali yung
nani,
greetings eh.
nanibago tayo
Hold
sa
on,
oras,
I'm
no?
opening my camera.
Ah, sige.
I have some difficulty in opening my camera. But guys, good morning. Kumusta po kayong lahat? Type in the comment section. Type in the comment section. Andito sa live stream natin. And as well as the Zoom. If kumusta po kayo? Are you feeling happy today? Today is Wednesday morning. It's December 10. Kumusta po ang lahat? Let me know kung kumusta po ang feelings natin. Watching from Baguio. Kayo ba ay excited or kayo ba ay medyo anxious, Miss Rachel, medyo sad, medyo feeling, I don't know, feeling nothing. Kumusta po? Kumusta po ang lahat? Kumustahin muna natin ang audience natin. Okay, kumustahin muna natin ang audience natin before we're going to start. Hi, Jay. Good morning. It's very early. Evening pala. Evening kay Sir Jay ngayon. Dito sa Pilipinas, it's 9:04 in the morning. On your time, on your location, Jay, kumusta po? And on your time, anong oras na?
It's 7 p.m. here, Central Time here in Texas.
Ayun.
Quite cold here, but I mean it's December, but it's manageable.
Ayan. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. And we are very excited na nagkaroon tayo ng opportunity para ma-invite si Miss Kim and si Sir Jeno para pag-usapan natin yung experiences nila coming from the Middle East and coming from the UK. So, maganda ang topic natin ngayon dahil talagang makaka-relate kayo. And they are all coming from the Philippines before they were able to go to the Middle East and as well as to the UK. So, thank you Sir Mark sa pag-join sa atin and we're also very blessed na andito sa atin si Sir Jay kahit gabi dyan at kahit pagod na si Sir Jay, andito pa rin siya supporting us on our activities and supporting us in all the mga sessions natin. And we are also very thankful for your time guys dahil sobrang aga pa. Siguro nasa duty ba kayo ngayon? How about others? Kayo ba, ano yung goal ninyo? Saan kayo gustong pumunta? Kayo ba ay gustong pumunta ng Middle East? Kaya gusto nyong malaman din yung journey ni Miss Kim na she's coming from the Middle East or gusto nyong pumunta ng UK wherein doon din galing si Sir Jeno. Isa sa mga guests natin. UK daw. Sir Jeno may mga gustong pumunta ng UK. Si Sir Jake, si Biandra, si Cherry ay housewife po. Hello sa mga housewife po dyan. Taong bahay po, Rowie is saying. Di pa nagwe-work ulit. Ayan. Hi to Kathy. Hi to everybody here in Facebook. Ayan. So, ang session natin ngayon is about the journey of our previous pastors also here in the iPass Honor Review and Mentoring Academy. And we're so blessed na kahit busy sila sa duty because they're currently working in the USA already, pero pinaglaanan talaga nila ng oras. And we are very thankful for that. Dahil mahal ang oras ng mga guests natin. Dahil sila ay earning dollars already. Pero pinagbigyan tayo ng mga guests natin para mag-share sila ng journey nila. So, we are very thankful sa guests natin. And I'd like to turn you over to Sir Mark para i-introduce yung mga guests po natin.
Alright. So, thank you, Rich. So, yung guest natin today, dalawa. And we'll be, what do you call this, hearing their stories. Ayan. So, unang-una, yung guest natin is also a coach here at iPass. And, dito nakapasa siya nung, kailan nga ba yun? I forgot na anong year yun. Nag-echo yata ako. Ayun. So anyway, unang guest natin is originally from Pangasinan dito sa Philippines. Ayan, and is also he worked in the UK for the longest time and is a UK citizen, no? Citizen na siya, but he opt to transfer to the United States para mag-practice doon. And he went there last year. Ayan. And he's working currently in, saan nga ba si Geno? In North Carolina ba? I forgot na. But anyway, let's hear it from him para siya mag-introduce ng kanyang sarili. So let's welcome si Coach Geno. And then our second guest is also coming from Cebu originally. And then no, she's from Bacolod no originally, and then she migrated to Cebu, nag-work sa Middle East naman, and then right now is nasa Philadelphia siya. Ayan. So asawa siya actually ni Sir Ryan Lim, yung ating educator na isa. And she is there na back in the United States since last year. So let's welcome si Ma'am Kim. So um Jeno and Ma'am Kim, are you there? Hello? Ayun. Nakamute ka, Ma'am Kim.
Hello,
Ma'am
Sir
Kim,
Mark.
nakamute ka. Okay, Jen, while waiting for Ma'am Kim. So, how are you? Kamusta? Nilalamig ba?
Ano mo na, good evening, Sir Jay, and good morning, Ma'am Rachel. And good morning sa Pilipinas, good evening dito sa US. I think good afternoon sa UK. Tama ba? Wala na ako sa time zone.
How
Sobrang
are
lamig
you?
ngayon dito, sir. Sobrang lamig as in. Mas malamig dito kaysa doon sa UK.
Sa UK. Okay, si Ma'am Kim naman. Ma'am Kim, it's nice to see you. Ang ganda ng background mo. New York ba yan?
Good morning, Philippines! Good evening dito sa amin! And we are live here in New York. Actually, background ko lang po itong New York na ito. But I'm currently in Philadelphia. So, salamat sa nag-register at salamat sa lahat ng nag-attend to this very informative discussion na ating gagawin for today. Salamat.
Okay, quick intro lang. So, anything that Jen, ikaw muna. Anything that you want to share muna, pakilala ka muna sa mga audience natin today.
Sige. Sige po. Ako pala si Jeno. I've been a nurse more than decades na yata. Sobra na. I'm from Pangasinan pala. Then I went to the UK. Masyadong madrama yung story ng ano ko yung transition ko from the Philippines going to the UK. And then dito sa US. Meron akong Hope Talk before. Check nyo na lang dun sa ang tawag nito sa page ng iPass sa YouTube nila. Meron doon kung yung transition ko. So, nagstay ako sa UK as a student visa before 3 years. And then drama na agad, no? Nabigo, umuwi ng Pilipinas. And then after 6 years, bumalik ng UK. And then, ayun na, the rest is history. Tapos nag-take ako ng NCLEX July 2021. And then after 4 years, yeah, it was 4 years. So yun, dito na ako sa US. Hindi pa ako citizen sa UK, but I was resident lang. So it's like parang green card holder din dito sa US. I was about to kunin ko na sana yung British citizenship ko. Kaya lang nagkataon na naging current na yung TD ko. So dalawa lang yon, is either i-pursue ko yung British citizenship ko or pumunta na ng US. So, of course, US naman talagang endgame. So, yun. Mas pinili ko yung US. Kaya andito na ngayon. And so far, wala naman akong pinagsisisihan. So, yun po. Yun yung about sa akin. And then, yeah.
Alright. So, Ma'am Kim, ikaw naman.
Yes. So ako naman, I work as a nurse mga total of mga 14 years. Yes, 14 years. Akala nilang kakagraduate ko po, pero hindi. 14 years po akong nurse. Napagkakamalan ako ditong newly grad. Sorry, yung anak ko gusto daw maki-join. Sabi ko, ganito ang buhay sa Amerika. Kahit na nagla-live ka, may mga bubuhit na nag-enter sa scenario. So, yun. So, 13 years, 14 years, yun. Sorry, wait lang. 13 years ako sa Saudi eh. Plus 4. So, 18 years pala, plus 1 year dito. 18 years. O, di ba? Nakakalimutan ko na. Ano na, sign of aging na ba ito? So, I worked 4 years sa Bacolod. I studied at Riverside College. So, I worked sa Dr. Pablo Otorio Memorial Hospital. And then, I worked sa Saudi naman for 13 years. Doon sa Saudi, I was privileged to work with different tawag nito, nationalities. So siguro in preparation din ng pag-US mo. I was a pediatric nurse and an emergency nurse. Ang dami. Quality improvement, basta, mix-mix na sila. Assalamualaikum pala dyan sa ating mga viewers sa Saudi Arabia. If you are there working right now, Assalamualaikum, kif halik. Inshallah kullu koyis, inshallah kullu shay tamam. And I hope to see you here sa US. You know, hindi kayo nagkamali if you already enrolled in IPAS dahil ako, I am a product of IPAS. I was Cycle 9, student Cycle 9. And yes, pinalad at blines na makapasa. So, andito na ngayon sa US as a dialysis nurse na.
Ayun. Interesting, no? So, shout out sa mga nurses natin dyan sa Middle East. Mga kung gising na kayo, so good morning. Ayan, so si Ma'am Kim is nasa Middle East before. And of course, no, marami din dito. Eto no, si Biandra and si Jake, no, gusto mag-UK daw muna. Ayan, so siguro, baka mag-UK muna ito and then mag-US na eventually, no. So let's talk about yung transition natin doon sa United States, no. So, you both went there in the United States last year si Jeno, and kailan ka nga, Ma'am Kim? Last year din, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, last
June
year
of-
din. So, with that, no, with the transition in the US and coming from different backgrounds, coming from a setting na nasa United Kingdom and someone from a setting na nasa Middle East, ayan, how was your work adaptation doon sa United States? Ano nga ba yung difference? Ano nga ba yung mga culture shocks ninyo doon sa workplace ninyo? Ma'am Kim muna.
Sige, ako muna. So, when I was working back in Saudi Arabia, well, the type of what we call this one healthcare system is very different. Whereas dito sa US, so doon kasi it will be like, although dito by policy din, but it would be very rigid na ito muna, then dito, then you know, you need to honor yung mga nasa doktor and stuff. So, dito naman sa US, they encourage autonomy. So, dito sa atin, as my experience dito na the dialysis nurse, you are assessing patient, you are the ones pinpointing kung ano yung mga abnormalities nila, you are the ones deciding kung ano yung pwedeng gawin within your scope. And then pag may mga parang you need pag hindi gumana or hindi naging effective siya, that's a time you need to refer to your physician or to the NP kasi dito may mga nurse practitioners na naka-duty. So yun ang one of the parang tawag nito adjustment. Kasi when I first come here, parang lahat ng i-refer mo. Kasi yun ang nakasanayan mo refer to this, referring this patient. But here, they encourage autonomy. Parang, they try to empower the nurses here. That's what I observe, Sir Mark. Yeah. Mm-mm.
How about you, Jen? Anong difference yung, ano yung striking difference na nakita mo between the difference ng UK healthcare system and American healthcare system?
I think, sir, yung sa akin naman sa naging sa experience ko, kung when it comes sa healthcare system, medyo may pagkakahawig sila. And tama yung sinabi ni Ma'am Kim with regards to yung promoting autonomy sa mga nurses. So, kung itatrack natin siya from Philippines to the UK to the US. Sa Pilipinas kasi, I don't know, di ba sa Pilipinas when the doctors ask you for these orders, you need to carry out the orders, right? And then sa UK kasi, you have the right to question. You have that initiative, tsaka pwede mong tanungin, pwede mong i-verify, pwede kang magtanong sa provider or sa doctor mo kung ano yung nararapat para sa pasyente nito. Kung parang ano yung what do you think is better for this? Para bang you can offer choices. Parang gano'n. So same lang din dito from UK to the US, ganun din yung transition ko. So you have that autonomy na mag-ask ka ng questions sa mga provider mo. And then ikaw talaga yung parang eyes and ears ng mga providers natin or yung mga doctors natin with regard sa situation ng mga pasyente natin. So yun parang ano siya. So hindi ako masyadong nahirapan sa lagay na yun, but then yung pinaka na na shock ako talaga is when it comes to documentation, documentation. Although doon naman sa UK before it was electronic documentation. Same lang din dito. And so thankful na lang din na yung ginagamit namin doon sa UK before, tawag nila is Epic dito, Maestro. So parang same lang din siya. Tapos masyadong high-tech lang in terms of like hindi mo na kailangan ng 'di ba, magmi-mix up ka ng mga medications dito. Ready na lahat. So kumbaga i-draw mo lang dun sa Omnicell or sa Pixies. So ready na yung mga gamot. So yung degree of error ba? Like when you do the 8 hours, although gagawin mo pa rin siya pero hindi siya ganun na kahirap kumbaga. So yun. So medyo mas madali lang din kahit pa paano.
So nanibago ka ba doon sa bagong setting mo?
Nanibago ako sa working environment since nung nasa UK kasi ako, general ICU yung floor, yung unit ko. But then nung pumunta na ako ng US kasi, dito kasi dun sa transition namin, isa-shadow ka nila sa different unit. So sa akin, binigyan nila ako ng City ICU, General ICU, tsaka Neuro ICU. And then, sa tatlong yun kasi, masyadong yung Neuro ICU kasi, yung sa tatay ko kasi namatay siya sa stroke. So sabi ko, itry ko nga tong part na to. So everything is quite new talaga sa akin. Kaya trinay ko tong Neuro ICU. So ngayon, at first, struggle talaga kasi bago lahat. But then, as days goes by naman, as you embrace at saka for as long as na-change mo na yung mindset mo talaga, makaka-adapt ka talaga. And everything is doing great.
Okay. So, different ito na sa Philippine setting, no? I mean, dito sa Philippines, carry out ka lang ng order and then yun na yun. But then again, doon sa US is andun yung autonomy. O nga naman, no? That is interesting. That is one of the key differences na meron yung American healthcare setting, no? Yung merong, tama yung sinasabi ni Jeno kanina, that nurses are empowered with the way, kumbaga, they handle their patients, no? So, it's something na kailangan nating pag-isipan. And of course, no, syempre, maraming responsibilities doon, no? Kasi ikaw yung ikaw lahat, no? And yun. So, ito naman, how about the trainings and skills, no, na needed, no? So, like me, I don't have like bedside experience, no? And then pupunta na ako ng US tapos walang bedside experience, no? So I'll be getting my training there. But then again, dito sa inyong setting, no? I mean sa inyong background, no? So pagdating niyo doon, what are the trainings and skills na needed na you think na someone transitioning to the US should have? Doon, ano yung mga na-realize nila pagdating niya, dapat na ganito ako. Or like, dapat kinuha ko yung training na iyon. So, sa palagay nyo, anong mga iyon, Ma'am Kim?
So, if you are targeting, kung may mga example, you already have employer or you have any, what we call this one, areas in mind, specific nursing areas in mind, specific special areas. If you're targeting, example, to be an ICU nurse, ER nurse, yung mga special area na ganon, and if you are still preparing, nasa Pilipinas ka pa or nasa ibang bansa ka pa aside from the US, make good or have this skill of insertion of IV, IV cannulating, be on the team or do a parang certification, IV cannulation. If you are then not to be in a trauma or in a level, kasi may mga leveling dito ang mga ospital, you try to do the trauma nursing na parang competency, or may ano yan yung parang sa mga what you call this one, license, may mga ganun yan sila. So different types of certification are available in accordance din doon sa special area. Pero if you are really eyeing for a general, yung parang wala ka pang ano, yung parang general lang, parang gusto mo na ano, try to have the BCLS or the ECLS para at least in that case, parang yun na yung parang stepping point mo to have the certification. And in my case naman, Sir Mark, ironically, I have never been assigned or exposed to dialysis. This is my first time din, Sir Mark. So parang ikaw din, parang pagdating mo dito, parang isasalang ka. But good thing, my employer, they put us on a 3-month training. So dun sa training na yon, you need to know how to string the machine, anong gagawin, so parang nangapa ako dun, Sir Mark, parang wait lang, parang hindi ito yung forte ko, parang ganun. So wala, from ano ka talaga, from step 1 ka talaga, Sir Mark. And then when you try to cannulate the fistula or yung mga mga access nila, maninibago ka kasi parang mo overwhelm ka because you are sanay ka dun sa mga ugat. So parang overwhelming na malalaki, although alam mo naman na hindi ka makaka-infiltrate kasi nga malaki siya, alam mo na pagtusok mo, andyan lang siya. Pero medyo nangangapa pa din on the first pero 3 months training that they have given was enough naman, sir, to learn a new skill and a new to be familiar with the new area, Sir Mark.
Ayun. May mga dialysis nurse ba tayo dito? Sa ating sa mga Facebook audience natin. So, sino dito yung mga dialysis nurse natin? Meron ba? May mga dialysis nurse ba? O dito sa sa Zoom, may mga dialysis nurse ba? Wala? Or sinong balak na maging dialysis nurse? Ayun. So, ayan, si Ma'am Kim, she is working as a dialysis nurse back there in the US naman. Ikaw naman, Jen, how about you? Ano yung mga feeling mo yung, like me, for example, papunta ako dyan, and then, yung mga iba na papunta pa lang dyan, ano yung masasabi mo na, ay, Sir Mark, dapat may ganito ka na, or like may training ka na ganito, or anything, na related sa skills and training?
I think, sir, tama yung sabi ni Ma'am Kim, kailangan meron kang ACLS tsaka BLS talaga. Sobrang importante nun. Pero I think, isa sa mga magiging edge mo talaga is magaling ka sa cannulation. Kasi sabi nga, di ba kanina, kailangan, you have that autonomy. You need to decide for your patient. And then, may mga pagkakataon talaga na, what if you only have 1 line or 2 lines, 2 IV cannulas, and then, hindi ka marunong mag-IV. Or, I mean, dito sa unit namin, I mean sa mga nurses, Filipino nurses sa hospital namin, ang gagaling ng mga Pilipino. Tsaka, lagi silang tinatawag pag mga ganyan, pag mga IV cannulation. Kaya, edge natin yun, yung mga Filipino nurses talaga when it comes to cannulation. So, malaking bagay yun talaga, especially pag mga emergency situations talaga. Sobrang importante. And at the same time, kasi pag naglo-look after ka ng mga patient na may mga central lines like art line or let's say mga IJ, right IJ, kung ang lang naman na is you need to like same lang din naman yung mga policy when it comes to mga technique like set technique, those things. Pero for as long as you adhere with the policies of the hospital, hindi ka mawawala at hindi ka you will not be in trouble. Pagdating ng when it comes to sa mga situation na let's just say may mga nangyari sa pasyente, for as long as you're doing your job according to the policy, you will never get it.
Okay, IV cannulation. Sir Jay, would you agree ba? What's your take on the trainings? I mean, you've been there in the US for the longest time now. What do you think?
First of all, I was actually listening to Kim and Jeno. Dati lang sila mga estudyante, pero andito na sila sa States. I was the one like talking about all those stuff before, when I was encouraging people or nurses from the Philippines. But now sila na yung nag-encourage sa mga natin, sa mga future nurses natin sa sa Pilipinas na sa Middle East, even sa UK, or elsewhere sa mundo, to come here sa US, and at the same time giving them some tips and say experiences na very relevant sa natin, sa practice natin. I can really attest na yung mga sinasabi ni Kim. I was also from Saudi before. Medyo laid back ang Saudi eh. I'm not really sure about UK though. Sabi nila medyo laid back din siya compared sa US. Medyo talaga dito, medyo you have to really keep up with what's here kasi medyo mabilis ang pacing dito. In terms of training na pinag-uusapan natin, yeah, you can get some training sa Pilipinas. It will actually give you some, some advantage like BLS, ACLS, and all those stuff. And if you can also have an opportunity to train yourself here, yung mga BLS, ACLS na yan, you grab it. Kasi ibang way nila ng dito, ng training dito. Number one, ang mga equipment nila. Puro mga advanced yung equipment nila pagdating sa training. Ayan, depending upon which hospital though, but most of the hospitals are mga puro advanced yan sila. Kasi yan sa instruction, sa higher education instruction kasi dito sa US. Simulation is evidence-based talaga yan siya. So way back pa sa college nila, ang medium ng nila, instruction is, especially sa skills training, may simulation na yan sila. So you try to grab those, opportunities na sa Pilipinas, na wala sa Pilipinas, and then you get it here. If you have that in the Philippines, and that's, okay lang din yun siya. But again, like I said, kung merong mag-o-offer sa inyo, kasi ang mga hospital dito, once you are in the orientation, libre yan. So might as well just grab it. I can tell sa hospital namin, libre yung ACLS, BLS. Libre yan lahat. So I said like, okay, why not, to better try what they have here. And all those equipments are really medyo advanced talaga siya. And yeah, you can make use of that. Like I said, evidence-based naman yan sila. Yung mga little trainings na yon, you can make use of that in your clinical practice. Malaking bagay yun siya. But then, there's a lot of factors when you adjust. Kasi may may mga ibang factors talaga like culture and even language and all those stuff. But yeah, it's it's a matter of flexibility and adaptability. And like Gino is saying, na tayo, tawag niyan, magaling tayo mag-cannulation. I can attest to that. Hindi naman sa pagmamayabang, hindi naman masyado. I'm not the best one, but sometimes they call me from the other units. So, I do that. But yeah, like I said, it's a matter of flexibility and adaptability. And skills, experience, makakatulong talaga yan siya. Whatever you had, like maybe even if it's laid back or something, sa Middle East or sa Pilipinas, makakatulong talaga yun dito. Yung experience ninyo na yan. So whatever it is, kung advanced man o hindi, pero I'm pretty sure na magagamit niyo yan siya. Yeah.
Okay. So sino na yung nakapag BLS and ACLS sa inyo? Sino? Meron na ba? Dito sa Zoom, meron na ba nakapag BLS and ACLS? Kasi I know, some of the employers ngayon is like, pag mag-apply ka sa hospital is nagre-require muna sila ng ACLS tsaka BLS or like IV. Parang yung IV cannulation yan is hindi na nire-require, no? Parang wala na siyang certificate, correct? Kasi sabi nila is like matututunan mo rin naman daw yan sa hospital.
Exactly.
Ayun. So meron na daw sila sila Jake, sila Roy, sila Eliza, sila Afra. Oh, that's good. That's good. Ayun.
Mark, I can just to add on. May IV training tayo sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? But if you have an opportunity to train like phlebotomy, like drawing blood, malaking tulong 'yun. Kasi you will be surprised when you get here sa States. Sigurado, you draw blood. Okay? Don't call it extract, ha? Because there's no such thing as extraction. We call it draw blood here. Walang nagsasabi na extraction. Magugulat yan sila pag sinabi mong, I will do some blood extraction. Ano ka, vampira or something? No. So we call it blood draw here. Okay? So, yeah. So if you have an opportunity to train to be a phlebotomist for like a short training, magagamit mo yan dito. Kasi nga, like I said, you will be surprised na, okay, ang mga nurses pala ang nagdodraw ng blood dito.
I
not
see.
only IV cannulation.
Oh,
Right?
yung ano,
Sir Jen and Ma'am Kim?
Yes po,
Yes, sir.
sir. Dito sa dialysis, we are the ones
Dialysis.
doing the centrifuge, yung pag extract ng serum and stuff, and then i i ipa-fright na lang going to the laboratory. So that's the time that they will analyze the blood. Pero dito na yung first step of separation ng serum from the red part of the blood. Yeah. So yun, may mga ganung so pwede ka nang maging ano tayo dito tawag dito multifunctional.
Yeah, multifunction. Yeah, multifunction. So I mean it helps also your skills na development. Kaya sabi ko pag you can never go wrong sa knowledge and skills dito sa Amerika kasi matututo ka talaga. Even like a year time or 2 years time, marami ka nang matututunan na hindi mo matututunan sa ibang bansa. I'm telling you. I can tell you that. But of course, you cannot just sit there and then, not doing anything. Of course, you have to do your part as well. You have to be hungry with that knowledge and skills as well.
okay.
Ano lang din, Sir Mark, i-add ko lang din sa with regards sa sa IV cannulation. Kasi meron dito yung parang yung meron tayong tinatawag na vascular access team. Like kunyari yung mga nurses, di na nila kayang mahirap yung mga vein ng pasyente, like it's hard stick ganyan. Meron silang tinatawag na vascular access team. Tapos ang gamit nila is ultrasound. Yung mga yun, mga high level na yun ng skills. So yun, pag meron sa mga nurses natin na nanonood ngayon or sa mga participants natin, pag magaling kayong mag-cannulate then using yung ultrasound, another skill yun. Another edge nyo yun dito pag kasi hindi actually dun sa hospital namin merong training na ganun. May training yung pag inaalaw nung hospital na you can have those kind of training, especially sa mga nandun sa emergency department. So, yun lang.
Oh, interesting. Ang daming ang daming ang daming
Boundless
opportunities for you to learn.
opportunities.
Oo nga,
Nice.
oo, totoo
Right.
'yun.
Right.
There's a lot of opportunities and exciting yun, no? So, eto naman, let's talk about patient ratio and workload. How is the patient ratio and workload diyan sa inyong workplaces? Ma'am Kim, ikaw muna. As a dialysis nurse there, kamusta yung
Sa mga nagpaplano na mag-US, magugustuhan nyo dito. Yun nga, good thing, Sir Mark, that you asked that one. Kasi last, a few days back, one from our coaching, mga colleagues natin sa coaching staff natin, nagtanong, syempre, kamustahan, ganyan. At nagtanong kung ano nga yung mga parang nanibago because we are at the same area before na nasa Saudi Arabia, I mean country. Tapos sabi ko, alam mo ma'am, nanibago talaga ako firstly dito sa pag-duty. Sabi niya, bakit? Dahil you will just be asked to work like 3 to 4 days lang. So, the rest is parang, wait lang, ano ba? Mauubos mo yung labahin mo, mauubos mo na yung mga frozen food, mas kakaluto, mauubos lahat, magagawa mo na. Kaya pala doon ko na-realize na kaya pala yung mga nurses dito, they have 2 jobs. Kasi ano bang gagawin? Kasi nasanay tayo from where we came from, Philippines, from where I came from, Saudi Arabia, kahit na 7 weeks, kanila, 7 days a week kanila patatabahuin doon na walang overtime, walang ganyan, etc. Dito, 3 days lang. The rest, matulog ka na. Yung parang ganon. Pero wait lang, kaya siguro yung mga Pinoy, naghahanap ng trabaho dahil hindi tayo sanay na, matenga lang sa bahay. Kaya yun ang pinaka Sir Mark, pinaka magandang part dito sa US. Yung working days, napaka-flexible, and then when it comes naman sa nurse-patient ratio naman, ito I will be talking from a dialysis point of view. Ako naman, I'm having one area, so it composed of 8 patients. Pero yung 8 patients na yon, although ikaw lang mag-isa na nurse, you have 2 techs. So sila yung nagmo-monitor ng vital signs, although may mga deviation or may mga irregularities, they will inform you, they will refer it to you. So that's the time you will step in and ano, kasi ikaw may mga gawain ka din, ikaw nagme-medicate, ikaw din nagpe-pre-assess, post-assess and stuff. So yun, so medyo ano siya, magaan siya. So yun, you have the time din na to focus din on each of them, kung ano yung mga needs nila, like for example medication reconciliation, may mga kailangan ba sila, ano ba yung next na mga appointments nila, ano ba yung nangyari, may mga yung assessment mo with their access. So mapagtutuunan mo sila ng panahon, Sir Mark. Parang you can do an individualized plan of care during your duty, kasi nga hindi ganun ka full pack yung ano mo, yung pasyente mo. Yeah. So yun naman ang sa amin.
Is it different from what you used to work in the Middle East nung nasa dialysis ka ba?
Sir Mark, I have not been in the dialysis. Na-try ko sa Middle East, ER, at saka yun, pediatric ward. Sa pediatric ward sa Middle East, isa ka, 20 plus ang pasyente mo, isa din ang attendant. Minsan, dalawa kayo, pero masyadong demanding, sir, dahil known to be ang pediatric na swero lang, every 4 hours magswero ka, every 2 hours kasi nadidislodge ano. So medyo kumbaga hectic siya compared to the dialysis setup. Yeah.
How about you, Jen? I mean, kamusta yung patient ratio sa workload mo at saka yung workload mo doon sa sa current setting mo diyan sa US?
Yung ano namin kasi sa before sa UK kasi 1:1 pag intubated yung pasyente. Then pag hindi sila intubated, pag let's just say parang mga level 2 ganyan, dalawa yung pasyente mo. Pero dito kasi sa US naman, ang meta nila is 1:2. At first nag-struggle ako diyan talaga. But then ngayon medyo okay na. Kasi sabi ko nga nung una hindi ko talaga kabisado yung marami akong doubts before, marami akong questions with regards to that. Talagang doon ako nahirapan sa nurse-patient ratio. Pero nung tinanong ko yung mga kasama ko ng mga nurses, nag-e-enjoy lang sila. Kasi doon pala kasi wala akong hospital background sa Philippines. I was a community nurse kasi sa Pilipinas. Parang yung parang proper hospital background ko sa UK na kasi. So, nanibago talaga ako. Pero sa mga talaga yung mga nurses natin, yung may mga training sa Pilipinas talaga. Ano lang, magiging parang makakapag-adjust sila kaagad-agad when it comes sa yung responsibility mo or yung nurse-patient ratio. Kasi I think sa Philippines, lalo na pag mga government hospital, di ba? Yung mga nurse-patient ratio sobrang like 1:10, ganyan, 1:15. Pero dito talaga, yung ratio nila na 1:2 is or 1:1, talagang ano na yun. Kumbaga, swak na siya talaga para mas ma-look after mo yung pasyente. So yun, sa akin talaga yun yung parang pinaka part na talagang nag-struggle ako. Yung sa nurse-patient ratio. Kasi nga, yung expectation ko before, parang akala ko, it's the same. Like it's 1:1 pag sa ICU. Pero dito, it's 1:2 talaga. So yun, doon ako nahirapan. Sa part na yun.
Okay. But all in all, I mean, how's the experience with regard to the patient ratio mo dyan sa US?
Ngayon sir, okay na. Okay na sir ngayon, okay na. Pero sabi ko nga kanina, kasi bago sa akin eh. Bago lahat, like, yung mga tinuturo lang dati ni Sir G about neurovascular, about neuro, like yung mga EVD. Hindi, lang eh. Kumbaga, salita lang siya before. Pero ngayon, na-experience mo na siya on hand. Like yung mga MRI, mag-MRI ka na, intubated yung pasyente mo, mag-CT scan ka na intubated yung pasyente mo, magta-travel kayo. And then, alam mo yun, parang dati, pinag-aaralan mo lang siya. Tapos ngayon, na-appreciate mo na siya kasi ginagawa mo na siya mismo. So, parang ganun siya. Tsaka may mga, talaga, like yung mga machines, yung mga high-tech yung mga machines nila dito, like, may mga machines na tinatawag nilang Camino. Yung Camino kasi yun eh, yung para ma-measure mo yung not just the central temperature, at the same time din yung parang sa ICP. So, yung mga yun, mga parang bago sa'yo. Bago siya sa'yo, pero matututunan mo rin siya in the long run. Tapos yung mga gamit din nila talaga.
Mm, mm.
Iba.
So all in all, no, I mean, yung difference is like sa technology din talaga, I mean, of course, high tech yung sa documentation and other things and yung mga na-mention na kanina na may mga ultrasound uh, for insertion and yung mga kung ano pang mga tools na ginagamit yun na dyan. It's something that yung pinaka-difference niyan dito sa Philippine setting is yung technology. Mas high-tech dyan sa US. So, siguro in terms of taking care of the patients, mas nai-aid niyan yung mga nurses in taking care well of the patients because may other things pa nga na ginagawa. Okay. So, all in all, in terms of nursing practice differences, no, um, if you're going to describe that in terms of mga documentation, patient expectations, workflow changes, um, how would you describe yung difference niyan talaga, all in all, if we summarize ninyo, yung difference nung nursing practice dyan sa US versus other areas na napag-practicean nyo noon? Ma'am Kim.
Mas hindi ka mabu-burn out, sir. Mas hindi ka mabu-burn out. Yeah. Pag well, in my own dito experience kasi sa dialysis. So sa documentation, um, it is very convenient because monthly we are doing the progress notes for our patients and may naka-assign sa'yo. And maganda dito, sir, because naka-template na siya. So, i-click-click mo lang, click-click mo lang siya kung ano yung mga findings with the patient. Yun lang. And then, kung may mga fill in the blanks man, it's the vital signs, yung height nila, yung weight, yung BP nila, temperature. The rest, sir, parang hindi ka na mag-sweat out. I-check-check mo na lang. Ganun yung the way we do our progress notes here. Monthly progress notes. Yeah, yun siya.
Ikaw, Jen, for you.
Ano sir? Well-guided ka dito, especially yung sa gamit nilang yung sa Maestro. Or yung Epic na tinatawag nila. Meron silang tinatawag na brain. Tapos andun na lahat yung gagawin mo. Andun na lahat yung gagawin for that particular hour. Susundin mo lang siya. Hindi ka mangangapa or anything. And then at the same time, well-guided ka rin when it comes sa mga pag-draw ng labs or even with the orders. Kasi ang dito, lahat nandun na sa computer. Ang communication sa computer, tapos meron ka ring extra phone just in case merong something na, let's just say may abnormalities sa result ng like for the BMP or mga CBC, mga ganyan. Tatawagan ka agad. Sobrang bilis ng response. And yung workload, siya, medyo tasky pero well guided. So hindi ka mawawala. So,
Okay. How about patients naman, no? I mean, nanibago pa kayo sa mga patients na tinitake care ninyo? I mean, paano ba? I mean, how do you handle yung patients ninyo na iba yung lahi, American na yung lahi, and iba yung culture, iba yung language, of course, no? So, anong adjustment yung kinailangan yung gawin? I mean, how would you describe yung patient relationship nyo dyan ngayon? Ma'am Kim, ikaw naman.
Well, yung mga pasyente dito, sir, they are very straightforward. Yung hindi ka masasanay dahil the way we, handle our patient, the way we talk to them, it is by, by the book talaga, yung by yung kumbaga yung demeanor mo and all. So I was even calling them ma'am, sir, even my colleagues, and they say, Kai, drop it. Drop the ma'am. Drop the sir. I'm not your teacher. So, drop it. Call me by name. Yun ang nila, and they're very straightforward. If, example, something happened previous day, nawala ka, and then sabihin nila, oh, you know what? I was ganito, ganyan, and ganito, ganyan. It's not, kasi, ewan ko, more sila favored dun sa how the Filipinos are taking care. So, pag ibang lahi ang nakaano sa kanila or kalahi nila, they would say na, you know what, it's different when you do things here. It's not ganito, parang daw, in order daw, may certain So sabi ko, you know what, we have different styles. So just, you know, um, go with the flow. I would really tell them, just go with the flow with it. And we have different styles. So, syempre, you're not, you're not gonna throw anyone under the bus and say, So, yeah, so yun ang, with the patient. More or less, they are very, appreciative kung makita nila na you're doing a great work towards them, and especially pag nag-educate ka sa kanila, they are very, 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 yung all ears sila sa'yo. They will listen carefully, and then really they would follow you kasi sabihin mo na, oh, you know what, if you drink sodas or this mga brand na mga sodas in-enumerate ko, your phosphorus will get high, and then ganito, ganito, ganyan. So, mas ano sila, ay, okay. So, or yung mga simple stuff as, you need to eat a little of this one and much of this one para sa diet mo, yung mga ganun. So, when you educate them, when you let them feel that they are important na they would really be appreciative on your effort. Sir Mark, yeah, yun ang nila dito.
Interesting, no? Talagang napapansin nila pag may bago or something na but it's good, no? Kasi na-appreciate nila yung Filipino touch kumbaga doon sa pag-care sa kanila kasi different, no? Ayan.
Yes.
How about you, Jen naman? For you, I mean, kamusta yung experience mo sa mga pasyente mo?
Ano kasi sa akin, sir, eh. Puro neuro problem kasi. So, laging altered ang mental status ng mga pasyente. So, more of the GCS talaga. Pero, when it comes to spinal patient naman, yung sabi ni Sir Jay dati yung, pag sinabi ng pasyente na, he's on pain talaga. Ganun lang. You need to acknowledge talaga if the patient is on pain talaga. Kasi mga spinal patient, naalala ko talaga yun eh. Kasi pag in pain talaga ang pasyente, pag mga spinal patient, talagang in pain sila. Challenging yung pag-handle sa mga pasyente nila. Pero when it comes to the family naman talaga, ang mahirap lang, I think, yung slang. Ang hirap intindihin talaga minsan. Ang hirap, like, you need to like, sabihin mo talaga, can you repeat it again? Or like, pardon me? Hanggang sa maintindihan. Hindi naman sila na-offend. Kasi alam naman nila na ang English hindi yun ang major language natin. Hindi yun ang primary language natin. So, naiintindihan nila at na-appreciate nila pag nagtatanong ka talaga. Or pag may hindi ka naiintindihan sa sinasabi nila. Kasi talaga mahirap. Same. Ang hirap intindihin ng accent nila minsan or yung slang na lang talaga. So, I mean, medyo exposed na rin ako sa di ba, when I was in the UK. Pero dito talaga iba rin. Iba rin yung accent nila. So, doon ako medyo nahihirapan. Pero tignan natin in the long run. Kaya yan.
Southern accent kasi yan, Jen. Carolinas are part of the,
ang hirap, sir. Parang may mga intonation sila na pataas pa baba, tapos biglang parang nagpa-flatline. Tapos, na yung sabi niya? Magaganon ka na lang, mahirapan ka.
Anong sabi niya?
Matututunan mo rin yan. I like to insert yung sinabi ni Kim kanina na that's so funny na like, sir, ma'am, something ganun. Ako, meron talagang isang incident na like the nurse practitioner was actually like confused kung ano ba talaga ang first name ko. Jay, is your first name Jay or Sir Jay? I said like, Jay? It's like, because everyone is calling me like Sir Jay because they know that I'm an educator, here in IPAS. And so my background sila sa akin. So that's why they are calling me, especially the new ones. They're calling me Sir Jay, Sir Jay, Sir Jay every time na every time that they need help kasi ako naman parating available to anyone, So Sir Jay ang tawag na, Sir Jay na taon na sobrang dami ng mga bagong Filipino nurses. So one time yung isang NP namin, Jay, I'm really confused. I go, what's your full, first name? Sir Jay or Jay? Sabi ko Jay. Like Jay, okay? Parang ganun. So anyway, so that's one funny thing as well.
Yeah. Okay, Ma'am Rach, your thoughts on the things that we have discussed so far.
Yeah, ang na-enjoy rin ako doon sa sinabi ni Sir Jeno na medyo there is a concern with regards to the accent. So, anong tip mo doon, Sir Jeno, with regards to the accent? Paano ba natin ma-adapt? Or like, ganun lang talaga, ma-adapt mo siya through time na makukuha at makukuha mo din later on. Siguro konting pasensya lang siguro at hindi mo maiintindihan yung mga bagay-bagay. Maybe later on, maiintindihan natin yung mga bagay-bagay. But before you're going to answer that, Sir Jen, I'd like to acknowledge everybody who's here with us via Facebook Live. We currently have 35 persons watching us via live. And we're also live in TikTok. So, hi to all our viewers there in both our social media platforms. And dito din sa Zoom natin, sabi ni Ma'am Angelica early on in our discussion, sabi niya, high-tech na rin dito sa Saudi. Paperless on documentation and are using SAL AI when charting. Ayun. Back then, Jay, wala tayong ganun, right?
I know.
Paper documentation ngayon, meron na at using
Paper-based.
AI. Amazing. Sana meron din tayo sa Pilipinas na, no, na even we're going to move forward with EMR. Using your cell phone, then automatically it's already in the system. The problem here is the ratio. Ayun. Back to you, Sir
I would
Jen.
like to-
Ano doon?
I would like to comment on that one. Sorry to interrupt. Itong sabi ni Angelica na high-tech na rin. Actually, maraming high-tech sa Saudi, sa Middle East. Like even in other countries. Dito of course, everybody knows na ang US talaga is leading the way pagdating sa advancement, di ba? One of the leading countries. But I would like to emphasize na for these days, hindi na about yung paunahan ng tawag nito ng kung sinong mas high-tech kasi ang dami na talagang high-tech na hospitals, especially sa sa Middle East, even in Australia, like anywhere sa buong mundo. But I would like to emphasize na ang US kasi in terms of, that's why I would really say na ang US is still number one sa healthcare. Kasi in terms of scholarly papers na pinagbabasihan natin sa evidence-based practice, bulk of that kasi is coming from the US. I'm telling you, it's like, I think it's almost 50% of the scholarly paper generated each year are coming from the US. So that will really tell you na, okay, ano talaga ang US talaga. They are really like at par na matuturing mo na ano talaga sila. Like they're really into it or with it sa advancement. Like I said, it's not really about the, given na kasi yan eh. It's not really about the equipment. It's about the evidence-based practice na ini-implement or kine-carry out natin sa pasyente natin. Of course, for the well-being of our patients. That's most important for me. Being here for several years na. So yun yung panghahawakan natin. So isn't it great to experience that kind of practice kung nandito ka sa US? So that's why I'm telling you, you cannot just sit there and then not doing anything in terms of willingness to learn kasi nandyan lahat yung opportunities. So I would like to really invite you guys. Ang opportunity talaga is nandito eh. Especially sa atin mga nurses, we have an extraordinary opportunity. So grab it. Huwag nyo nang patagalin yan. Kasi baka maabutan tayo ng end of the world. Wag naman. But malayo pa kasi tawag nito. Kulang pa ang nasi-save. But anyway, so So that's my take about being high-tech or whatnot.
Matagal-tagal ka, Sir Jay, yung demand for nurses in the US, no?
Yes, exactly.
Until 2034 pa yung demand. So, siguro mga 10 years pa, no? So, yung mga nag-review sa atin at yung mga nagre-review pa lang, ayan, so marami pa kayong time para to catch up, no? And hopefully, you will be like Ma'am Kim, Sir Jeno, and Sir Jay na nasa US na and yun, enjoying yung bagong career doon. Alright, so it's time for our Q&A. Ayan, so if you have questions to our to our speakers pala, please feel free to ask your questions dito sa ating Facebook na mga nanonood. Ano yung mga tanong ninyo? What are your questions? And then dito sa Zoom, anything na you want to ask them? Anong mga iyon? So, anything, no? Under the sun? Anything under the US, no? Na nagpa-practice doon and anything that you are curious to know about their life and their adjustment dun sa US. So please feel free to ask questions. Okay?
Yes.
So sige, while waiting for the questions, eto muna si Miss Angelica sabi, yes, RJ, agree. US is what we are dreaming of. That's why we choose iPads. And I think iPads si DH recently, ano ko, will pass the NCLEX soon. Yes, tama yun, Miss Angelica.
Yes.
Ano lang, tiis-tiis lang muna, tsaga-tsaga lang muna tayo sa ano, no, sa preparation. Okay? So, while waiting for the questions, eto naman, Jen, I mean, and Ma'am Kim, no? So, kamusta yung kamusta yung pagdating niyo naman doon diyan sa US? How was it, no? I mean, how can you describe the experience, no? Yung first, let's say, first full month ninyo diyan sa US, no? How will you describe it? Anong pakiramdam? Anything? How will you describe it? Kwentuhan niyo kami doon sa first month niyo diyan sa US. Ma'am Kim, ikaw muna.
Yes, sir. Nung dumating kami dito, it was summertime. So, from summer to fall. Tama ba? Yes, summer to fall na siya. So, yung transition ng weather, doon kami nag-adjust. Doon kami dahil may mga bata na kasama. So, yun, yung mga bahing-bahing, mga atching-atching, and then yung mga damit, kasi yung syempre, we are from the tropical country, so syempre yung mga bit-bit mong mga gamit, yung mga damit nyo, it's not tawag nito, suitable para sa fall. So yun, adjustment period, Sir Mark, with the weather, with the food, dahil naghahanap ka pa ng yung mga panglasang Pilipino pa. Dito, syempre, medyo mahal na kasi those are considered imported na. So, yung isasanay mo na lang yung mo dito with toast, yung mga nila dito, yung mga burgers, kung ano yung mga available na mga pagkain nila dito. So, yun sir ang namin, yun ang 1 month namin dito, adjustment puro.
Struggle sa weather at pagkain.
Yes, sir.
Nakakatuwa, no? Anyway, we have a question here, no, from Facebook. Sabi ni Gail Andre Ozayeta, no, kaya po bang sabay ang NCLEX review and work as a fresh grad RN? Siguro let's ask si Jeno. Parang ginawa ni Jeno to, pinagsabay niya yung review and work at the same time. Ikaw Jen, yung samagot dito.
Actually, lang yan, it's all about the mindset. Kung gaano mo siya kagusto, kung gaano ka ka-eager na gusto mong makuha yung isang bagay. Kasi when I took the NCLEX exam, I was reviewing during COVID time. And during that time, alam mo naman, during COVID, di ba? Ang daming nangyari during that time. At the same time, nagre-review pa rin ako. Nasa kasi yan, it's all about your grit. Kung gaano mo siya kagusto. Pero kung kunyari, ito na, coaching style na tayo. Kasi kung 50% lang ang effort, walang mangyayari. But if you will give your all talaga pag sa pagre-review, at kung gustong-gusto mo talaga siya makuha, at wala akong pinagsisisihan sa bagay na yun. Kasi, back in the UK, okay ng buhay dun eh. Sa totoosin lang. Pero, nung nandito na ako sa US, may mga bagay na sinasabi ko talaga na, minsan surreal pa rin, like, every now and then, pag nagbabiyahe kami or nagta-travel kami, lagi kong tinatanong sa asawa ko, nasa US na ba talaga tayo? Lagi kong tinatanong yun kasi hindi ko talaga hindi ko siya ini-expect. Parang kanina nung may bumili kami ng kasi may Christmas party dito. Tinanong ko na naman sa kanya, nasa Amerika na ba talaga tayo? Like, nag-apply ka nga, 'di ba? Yun nga sagot niya kanina. Nag-apply ka nga, 'di ba? Andito na talaga tayo, sabi niya. So, yun. So, at the same kasi siya. Nasa kung paano mo siya gusto. Nasa kung ano yung gusto mo mangyari sa buhay mo in like 5 years time, in 10 years time. Pero kung yung gusto mong buhay lang is yung something na nakontento ka naman na, I'm not discouraging everyone. Pero kung gusto mo talaga ng opportunity na andun na lahat, yung mga bagay na akala mo hindi mo siya ma-achieve, yung mga bagay na hindi mo makikita na parang fantasy lang, na parang fairy tale lang, dito bibigay eh. Basta magsipag ka lang. Diba ang galing nun? And mga Pilipino, yan? Tayong mga Pilipino, sanay tayo sa when it comes to, let's just say, sobrang resilient natin. Like, sobrang hirap ngayon, pero bukas, uwi ka lang, recharge ka, bukas, okay ka na ulit. So parang ganun lang din dito, kahit mahirap siya in terms of yung sa trabaho, pero kayang-kaya mo siya, kasi nga yung mga naging experience na natin before na nakuha natin, sobrang sobrang laking tulong ng mga naging experience natin before para paano tayo na mold, kung paano tayo na mold, at magagamit natin yon sa mga pang-araw-araw na ginagawa natin dito. And sa tanong ni ma'am na kung kaya ba, kaya yan. Nasa ano yan, nasa sayo yan talaga.
Tama, no? And just to add on that, no, kay sabi ni Coach Jenno, no. So, it's a matter of time management. So, kay Gail, for example, kung nag-work ka and nag-review at the same time, so i-manage mo lang yung time mo. Kung may work ka, pag-uwi mo ng bahay, kung ilang oras yung masuspend mo sa aaral, then go ahead, no. Ang importante doon, it's not a matter of how big yung accomplishment mo, but nagmamatter kasi doon yung baby steps na tinatawag, no. Unti-unti, kaya 'yon. So, to answer your question, yes, kayang pagsabayin ang review while working. All right? Eto, we have a question kay, asan na 'yon? Ito Jen, sa'yo, for you Jen. So Sir Jenno po, how did you transition po from a community health nurse to a nurse that you are today? Pang miss you yung question na.
Parang ang hirap nga sagutin eh. Pang miss you. Actually kasi to tell you honestly, kasi before nung nagtrabaho ko sa community health nurse, kailangan ko kasi ng pera. Kailangan natin yun. Let's just be real here. No? Kasi if you work for the government before, and ang offer kasi nun is yun lang sa community. So, grinab ko siya. Pero yung sa transition naman, lahat naman kasi matututunan yun with the proper guidance, with the proper training, and of course, yung determination mo talaga, and your willingness to learn, makukuha mo siya.
Totoo yun, no? I mean, for those of you na, marami kasi nag-ano na, syempre, parang yung bedside experience yung kailangan for the US, no? So, siguro marami sa inyo ngayon na wala sa bedside, like, nagtuturo, ganyan, or working as a community health nurse, or any other field for that matter, say may nasa BPO, and kung saang industry na outside of bedside nursing. So, siguro naisip nila na parang, ay, hindi yata ako pwede mag-NCLEX because hindi ako na bedside or like wala pa akong experience, no? So, ang first step kasi doon na magandang gawin is just take the NCLEX, no? I-figure out yun niya lang after passing the NCLEX kung anong gagawin ninyo. Ang importante doon is meron na kayong license, no? We have a lot of nurses na nasa BPO ngayon. We have a lot of nurses that is outside of the bedside nursing, no? Pero nagtitake ng NCLEX because madali na sa kanila mag-transition and mag-figure out nung gagawin nila pag meron na silang lisensya. Ang mahirap doon is wala kang lisensya, tapos gusto mong may ma-achieve or something, no? Hindi, mahirap, no? Basta, ang importante dito is madali mag-decide kung meron na kayong lisensya kung anong gagawin ninyo. Yun ha. Lisensya muna. Tsaka na i-figure out kung anong gagawin. Kasi there are agencies who are accepting nurses na outside of bedside nursing, babalik nila sa bedside pag nag-a-apply na. So, sabay yung application for the visa and yung experience para pagdating ng visa interview ninyo, kompleto na inyong experience sa bedside. So, yun ha. Lisensya muna, then figure out kung anong gagawin. Okay? So, eto. From Zoom, si Royaden Dolor po. Newly passer po ako. Balak ko po sana kumuha ng NCLEX next year. Since nagkaka-prob po sa US ngayon, which country po kaya magandang applyan? Thank you. Ma'am Kim, sa iyo, nagkaka-prob ba yung US ngayon? Parang hindi naman. No? Well, before you answer that, no, I mean, I don't think there's a problem ngayon with the United States. Walang problema sa US, no? Siguro yung nakikita niyo na parang yung sa H1B, isa yan sa mga nagiging problem, pero wag na nating isipin na yun kasi nga sa kanila na yun. And then for nurses kasi, EB3 yung route na kukunin natin eh. It's like yung green card agad. So right now, I'm telling you na wala namang problema yung US, no? I mean, yung application and demand for nurses is still ongoing. Yung mga agencies is buhay na naman actually yung mga agencies ngayon because nagmo-move na naman yung visa bulletin, no? Unti-unti nagmo-move yung visa bulletin. So, to answer your question, walang problema yung US. But an alternative, no. Ma'am Kim sa iyo. Ano yung for example, hindi mo na sila mag-US, ano yung alternative na countries na pwede nilang applyan habang nag-aantay ng US? Nakamute ka, Ma'am Kim.
Minute
Ayan.
ako ni Sir Jeno. Hi Ma'am Roya din, thank you sa sa pag-participate mo. So, ito on my my own opinion kasi when you ask kung parang diversional lang ba ang sinasabi mo, well for me, mas maganda na if you target US, kung talagang end game mo si US, start your US processing na. Kasi kung yung siguro yung sinasabi mo siguro na nagkapa-prob ang US, siguro what she meant with that is yung retrogression, siguro yun ang ibig kong sabihin, which is a normal thing. Nangyayari ang retro. I was a victim of that. 18 years ako nag-antay. O kami, lahat
Same.
kami dito. Yes, lahat tayo. It is, yeah, it happened. So it is parang norm na siya ng immigration. So, kung ako sa'yo, if you really want US as your end game, start your US journey now. Enroll ka sa IPAS, magpa-process ka kay IPAS. Pag naka-exam ka na, napasa mo na siya, mag-IELTS ka because IELTS and NCLEX is, in conjunction with each other para maka-visa screen ka. Because the totality of the time na i-google mo dun sa pag-process mo pa lang without pa yung yung waiting time ng mga retrogression and the mga PD and stuff, 1 year yun before ka kumbaga before ka makapila dun sa visa. So, yun ang yun ang i-mindset mo. If sa isang banda naman na parang, ay, ma'am, kasi ito yung natin, kailangan natin ng funding or what, well, in my case, okay ang Saudi Arabia. It is because tax-free siya in terms of salary. So kung magkano yung kontrata mo, yun ang nakukuha mo. If you are under the Ministry of Health, which I was working before, libre ang bahay, libre tubig, libre pagkain, libre lahat. Yung mga personal necessity mo na lang ang bibilhin mo. So, yun ang so makaka-save ka. Kung yun ang kung sa palagay mo yun ang medyo i-work up mo yung financial. Pero kung financially may tutulong sa or may magbabacker sa or sabihin natin o yung mother or father or auntie, uncle or whoever na magfa-finance sa just to to start with your NCLEX goals, to start with your American dream, I might suggest na you start it now. Kasi hindi natin alam, baka biglang buksan ng immigration like last time kinurrent nila tapos biglang sara. May mga ganun ginagawa So at least kumbaga nasa pila ka na. Kung naka-visa screen ka na kasi nakakuha ka na na-applyan ka na ng I-140. Ano yung I-140? I-140 is very important dahil dun kinukuha yung priority date mo. So pag may priority date ka na, pag sinabing, okay, December 2025 ang priority date mo, pag nag-current yan, wala, pasok ka na, interview ka na, medical ka na. So yun ang kagandahan dyan. So pag NG mo sa US, start now. Diba? Start now. Focus on that.
Totoo yun, no? Totoo yun. Ikaw, Jen, anong alternative yung sa palagay mo other than US, no? Nag-apply pa lang sila, gusto mo na mag-work in other countries. UK ba is maganda for you kasi nasa UK ka noon? Or kamusta pa yung UK ngayon?
Siguro ang masasabi ko diyan, tama si Ma'am Kim, dapat for as long as na nakapag-NCLEX ka na, nakapag-visa screen ka na, or for as long as meron ka ng meron ka ng PD and meron pang leeway talaga para makapag-abroad, go for UK. Kaya lang, I mean, ang maganda sa UK, syempre malapit sa Europe, 'di ba? Europe siya. So ang dami kang pwedeng puntahan. As in sobrang malapit lang, tsaka hindi siya ganoon kamahal. Pero ang maano ka lang, pero kung talagang US yung gusto mo, yung training pa lang sa Pilipinas sobrang okay na eh. Mag-e-enjoy ka na pag nasa US ka eh. Parang I don't know if ito yung tamang word eh. Parang minamani lang ng mga nag-training sa Pilipinas yung work dito sa US eh. Kailangan lang talaga nila yung mag-adapt talaga sa system. But when it comes sa pag-handle ng mga maraming pasyente dito, sa Pilipinas, konti lang yung pasyente eh. I mean, marami yung pasyente pero dito, konti lang yung nurse-patient ratio nila.
Interesting, no?
Oo. Tsaka pag UK, yeah, as in, okay yung UK. As in, okay talaga siya.
Ayun.
Pero, US talaga.
Yeah, I mean, with the training, no, I mean, well, parang ang narinig ko kay Jenna is yung training ng Filipino nurses dito sa Pilipinas is okay na kasi kumbaga yung principles of taking care of the patient is ando na, no? And syempre, sanay tayo sa multitasking. And kung I mean, pwede na mag-UK, but for training purposes, for experience purposes, okay na dahil dito sa Pilipinas. And let me talk about retrogression, no? Lahat kami dito na andito ngayon is nabiktima din ng retrogression. Na-retrogress ako ng siguro mga 1 year. Yung retrogression kasi guys, no, hindi yan problem with the immigration. It's a normal occurrence doon sa immigration process ninyo. Talagang magre-retrogress yan. Kasi syempre, yung mga visa na ina-accommodate ng United States is merong cap yan. So pag naabot na nila yung kumbaga yung quota nila, syempre magsa-stop muna sila doon. But it's not a problem in a sense na mag-move pa rin yan, no? Mag-move pa rin yan at hindi pwedeng hindi mag-move yan kasi kailangan nilang nurses doon. No? So, kung ako sa inyo, like maraming nag-arita na, hindi muna ako mag-NCLEX because of the retrogression or like hindi muna ako mag-apply, hindi muna ako mag-review dahil may retrogression. Hindi. Mali yung mindset na ganun. Kasi, kung wala kayong license, no, kung hindi pa kayo nag-NCLEX, tapos habang retrogression, so what if mag-current yung visa bulletin? No, nung way back in 2021, 2022, lahat yun current ang visa bulletin, kaya marami nakakaalis. Pagkapasa ng NCLEX nila, nakaalis na sila within 6 months because nag-current yung visa bulletin. So, sige, pagpalagay natin ngayon, nag-current yung visa bulletin, wala ka pang NCLEX, so saan ka? Diba? Wala kang pupuntahan kasi wala kang priority date. Diba? Ang importante is kunin niyo yung license whether may retrogression or wala para mauna na kayo sa pila. Yun yung bottom line doon. Pag may license kayo, pag may employer kayo, may priority date na kayo na sinasabi ni Ma'am Kim, mauuna na kayo sa pila. Okay? So, wag nang magpatumpik-tumpik pa, kundi mag-review na sa inyong NCLEX. Okay, so let's muna dito sa Facebook. Is iPass a branch of Health Carousel? Hindi po, Ma'am Maribel, pero partner namin sa Health Carousel. Magkaiba po sa Health Carousel tsaka si iPass. Pero partner namin sa Health Carousel. If you are Health Carousel employee, 'di ba? Sir, Jen, may nagsabi dito, Sir Jeno, yung CHF lesson mo ang naging turning point ko. Hehe. Thanks. Regards to Sir J, ang dali-dali intindihin ng ABG. Si KBX pura. Student mo siguro to, Jen, dati.
Okay. Tsaka yung ABG, yun. Magagamit mo yun dito, yung partially compensating. Fully compensating, di ba? Ma'am Kim? Especially sa dialysis.
Doon mo ma-appreciate yung class ni Sir J na tawag nito, maduguan. Yung parang wait lang, nagkakwat na yung utak mo dahil kasi may mga estudyante kasi minsan may mga type of reviewees, yes, mga learner na gusto nila instant. Yung hindi, dapat kung nag-review ako, yun lang yung mga lalabas ng exam, yun lang yung kung anong ibibigay. maganda kasi kung ano yung malalaman mo talaga yung root, kung ano normal na anatomy, kung ano yung ano, kasi hindi mo malalaman yung pag-transition niya sa abnormal or sa illness kung hindi mo alam yung normal. Tapos kung ano yung mga, basta doon mo talaga ma-appreciate. Kaya bit ko din. Kaya yung bit ko nung pag-migrate namin dito, yung iPass na, yung libro na binili
Yung
ko,
road.
roadmap.
Roadmap.
Oo, kasi sabi ko, ay nako, ito yung reference ko. Pinapakita ko to sa mga estudyante ko. Sabi ko, ito, sabi ko, ganito. Sabi ko, ito yung bit ko kasi sabi ko, reference. Dahil, syempre, tawag nito, kung ano kasi yung nasa roadmap, actually, nagagamit siya dito. Ano siya, yung parang ano talaga, it is based on the things na nangyayari dito sa US. So yun, dun ko siya na-appreciate. Totoo kasi,
Ay,
Jen. Yeah.
Handy yung ano, no, yung roadmap, no?
Oo, yung
Handy.
roadmap. Kaya, oo, sir. Ay,
Okay.
I would like to comment on that. On my end kasi, as an educator, especially as a lead educator sa IPAS, number one, NCLEX kasi by NCSBN is very, very like, practice-driven. Ang mga items dyan, lahat ng items dyan are all coming from the practice analysis na ginawa nila for like a period of time. So, in other words, yun nga sabi ko, lahat ng sinasabi ko as an educator are really coming from what I see and what we do here. Kaya kailangan talaga ninyo yan sa mga, sa mga future students natin. So, I'm never going to say anything na sa tingin ko na hindi siya relevant or, So, lahat yan makakatulong sa inyo. And then, you will find out then, kasi hindi lang si Jen, alam ko hindi lang si Jen or si Kim ang nagme-message sa akin yan, especially to those who are already here, of course, si Kim and si Jeno. Nagme-message pa rin talaga parati sa akin na, sir, ito yung sinabi mo sa akin dati na, especially transitioning, malaking tulong talaga siya. And I take pride with that kasi, sinasabi talaga sa akin ng mga estudyante. So, I really appreciate that. And then, for those who are still contemplating right now, yan, in relation sa sinabi natin na wag nyo na intayin na mag-current. Kasi retrogression is always gonna be there. Ako, biktima din ako ng retrogression for like many years. Just like Kim siguro. Ang tagal ko ring naghintay ng retrogression. But when you say, na ano lang ako sa question ni something to do with the problem sa US, I think you're referring to the retrogression. But I think it's not just about that. I think it's something to do with probably because of political landscape sa Amerika, whoever is sitting there sa sa administration. I don't want to sound political though, but wala namang nagbago sa wala namang nagbago sa EB3 na dynamics eh. If you look at it, not anything, not any like single, probably yung mga biometrics, mga ganun-ganun lang. Pero yung mga yung mga basic na steps about EB3 visa, being a nurse, being an immigrant nurse, applying as an immigrant nurse here in the US, walang nagbago niyan. Whoever is sitting there. So I don't think it's politically driven or something. So
Sir Jay, I think this is a relation dito sa question ni Richard. Ito yung yung question niya is, sabi ni Richard Lopez Rossini, not only retrogression po, the Republican Party as per Donald Trump executive order against alien deportation, especially non-natural born American. Ganito yung Richard, no? We are thankful and we are lucky to be Filipino nurses because yung visa na ibibigay sa atin are EB3 or Employment-Based Category 3. How does it affect yung status mo doon sa US? For example, yung mga issues about ICE, yung naghuhulihan ngayon doon sa look at Ma'am Kim and Jeno, they are there, no? They are smiling. They are happy. So, hindi yan maka-apekto in a sense na iba yung visa natin. Kasi siguro, like, hinuhuli yung mga yung mga yung mga non-natural born American, hindi. No, hindi yan magiging problem for nurses because yung visa na ibibigay sa atin are immigrant visa. No, so hindi tayo apektado ng mga ICE na mga deportation and all. Not unless may gagawin ka na krimen doon sa United States. as long as you are um, legally following the rules, you are not violating the conditions of your visa na immigrant, wala tayong magiging problema doon. Kasi kung hatakin ka man ng ICE, pagkita mo yung immigrant visa mo, then you're safe, no? So, tama yun, yung sinasabi ni Sir Jay, sa dynamics din ng EB3 application, wala din nagbabago doon. So, we are lucky. You, Richard, is lucky because Filipino ka, na nurse ka, so wala tayong magiging problema doon. So, it's not a deterrent towards applying for the NCLEX. Bottom line, hindi apektado yung nurses doon sa mga ICE deportation and all. Sir Jay.
So, coming from me na, I had experience na ito yung, sitting president, saka iba na naman yung presidente. No, walang for me it's not really, walang bearing sa atin na Filipino nurses. Sabi ko nga, technically speaking, walang nagbago sa EB3 na processing. Mga little bits of but it doesn't really tell us na, okay, bawal na, ganito, ganyan. No, it's not that. And I've known so many, students natin na, nandun sa US Embassy, sa wherever US Embassy, like Manila or Saudi Arabia or wherever. They got the visa with no hassles or anything. Very smooth. So, sina Kim, kakapunta lang dito. Si Jeno, like last year, di ba? I mean, yeah, both these guys. And our students as well. Wala ako nakitang problema na gano'n. But, alam nyo naman, the media, things like that. But, we have to research talaga. Like I said, regardless of the political landscape or whatever is currently being showed, wag tayo masyadong maniwala. Take it from me. I'm from Texas though, so alam ko naman masyadong mainit, especially sa borders. But bakit ako I'm in the first place, I'm not illegal. Diba? So if I'm illegal, of course, maano talaga ako niyan, maapektuhan ako niyan. But I'm not illegal, so I'm legal like us here. So I don't think it will affect us. So, ayun. So take it from me.
Okay. Ayun, so walang problema sa sa pag-migrate sa US, no? Like me, kaka-interview ko lang last week, so walang problema.
There you go.
See you soon, sir.
See you soon.
Hindi ko na nga sinabi, Mark, pero
Kaya nga.
I mean,
Break mo na, sige na. Tuloy na natin.
based on my experience, no, ganito yun, no. Walang problema doon eh. I mean, the ICE is doing their stuff there sa ICE, pero wala. I mean, nag-interview ako last week, and then walang problema, walang issue, walang something, so walang problema. Wala kayong dapat ipag-alala. Alright? So,
guys, just a disclaimer, I'm not an immigration lawyer or something, but I'm telling you that's just based on my opinion and my experience as well.
Yeah, ayun, so based experiences namin na andito sa inyo ngayon, wala kami naging problema sa immigration. So tuloy-tuloy ang immigration natin. Okay, so both dito sa Zoom and sa chat sa FB is may nagtatanong, ano po ba yung advice state na mag-apply for NCLEX? Ma'am Kim, ikaw na lang.
Sige. If you are someone or if you're a nurse na kakapasa lang, wala kang experience na, kasi may mga state talaga na they require certain time frame of experience. So New York is the best one kasi hassle-free si New York. Maganda ang mabilis siya, maganda ang ang requirements, hindi ganoon ka-tight, and it is very kumbaga ang expiration ng ng tawag nito, ng eligibility niya is hindi ganun kabilis. So yeah, I go for New York.
New York. Oh
Start
no,
spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
Like, ano din yan, Miss Kim? Empire State, yung New York.
Pwede ko masingit. I think kanina sinabi ni Jeno na parang hindi mo pa rin maisip na nasa US ka na. Ako, it took me some time. Until probably I saw the Golden Gate. And at the same time, yung Liberty na yan. So you can really say na, nasa US na pala talaga ako. Like it's not really about the iconic the iconic na structure na yan. It's about your dream na ano ba, you've dreamt about it, you know, when you were young. Tapos yung ang dami mong pinagdaanan, tapos you and then you realize like after some time, sabihin na nating matagal siya, pero mabilis lang ang panahon kasi eh. And then you realize na, oh, nandito na nga pala talaga ako. Nakikita ko lang to sa notebook ko dati, like Golden Gate. Di ba? So napaghahalata na ganyan na ako tanda sa notebook na yan, yung mga ganun, yung mga artista o kaya mga you know, parang tawag yan, yung postcard or something, mga ganun. So but anyway, so yeah, I realized, sabi ko, ang ganda talaga nitong ano, and then, okay, yeah, I'm really here in the US. And then, looking at the Liberty, napaka-iconic din. When we went to New York. Ayun, napakaganda. And then, you know, the vibes and everything. Yeah, it's very it's very kumbaga inviting masyado. Well, ang dami mong choices dito, for sure. If you don't want like a hustle, you know, world like New York, for sure. Ang New York naman kasi maraming maraming parts. May masyadong magulo, may mga parts ako na gusto talaga sa New York. Like when you walk by the streets, gusto ko yung part na yun, like the Lower Manhattan for example. Gusto ko yung other parts medyo hindi ko masyadong trip kasi I'm a laid back kind of person kasi. You have many choices. You can go to Texas, you can go to California, you can go to like the Carolinas, North and South, di ba? You can go to Pennsylvania. O di ba? So marami naman talagang each part of the US. Yun yung maganda sa US kasi maraming options. Each part of the US, mayroon talaga mga yan, kahit naman siguro saan, like, you know, may ghetto na places. Pero, gano'n naman talaga, just like in the Philippines or wherever, di ba? But, in so far, I'm sorry, Jen?
Tsaka sir, in addition yung parang iba't ibang state, iba't ibang vibe. Tapos nasa sayo na yun kung saan mo gusto. Ang ganda ng bawat ang ganda ng bawat state. Sobrang ganda ng mga bawat state na mapupuntahan mo tapos kanya-kanya silang vibe. Meron certain sa lugar na yun na makikilala mo na, okay, sa Tennessee to. Or New York din to. Parang ganun.
Right.
Kaya sana nga, lahat tayo talaga, yung mga nanonood ngayon, sana lahat tayo talaga ma-experience natin yan kasi iba talaga yung feeling. Promise.
Yeah. Okay. Ayun. So, wait na before we 10:30 na, no? So, we need to wrap up. So, anyway,
pa to.
Dapat 4 na oras.
We can't go long that way, no? I mean, wait lang, last na lang. Sabi ni Ma'am Jennifer Batangas, planning to Canada. Ma'am Jennifer Batangas, message mo po yung yung iPass processing page so that our team can explain to you the process of application. And then si Ma'am Desiree, is there an age limit in working abroad? For the US, no. Yung even yung youngest passer namin sa iPass is 63 years old. Ayun ha. Walang age limit. So, si Ma'am Cecil 63 years old siya nung pumasa ng NCLEX, so ma-inspire kayo doon. So, age is not a question pagdating sa US. All right. So, let's wrap up the discussion na guys, no? Any final thoughts from you, Jen muna, Jeno? Any final thoughts from you about the whole discussion? Anything that you want to say sa mga nanonood sa atin sa Facebook and nandito sa Zoom?
Sa akin talaga hindi ka magsisisi na pinurso mong mag-US. Hindi ka kahit na sabihin natin I've been here for like less than a year pa lang, pero yung opportunity na meron ako, tsaka yung kung dati needs lang yung kaya ko, pati ngayon pati once mo kaya mo nang bilhin not to brag but to inspire, pero yun talaga yung reality siya. And then you have other options as well and choice na when it comes to your with regards to financial security, pagdating ng araw, pagdating ng kunyari, when it comes sa let's say magre-retire ka na for your retirement, dito makukuha mo yun lahat as in. So sobrang thankful lang ako na nandito na ako talaga. And then hopefully sabi ko nga sa mga post ko lately na sana lahat tayong mga nurses, kung gusto niyo talaga ang US, i-pursue niyo kasi yung opportunity sobrang limitless. Nasa sayo yun kung ano yung magiging gusto mo. Kaya laban lang, at saka yung mga mag-exam pa lang or yung mga mag-exam pa lang or hindi pa nakapag-decide, I think kung gusto niyo talaga ang US, go for it. Kasi talaga, ang daming pwedeng gawin dito, ang daming, tsaka, when it comes to work-life balance, nasa sayo pa rin. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Kim kanina, 3 shift lang. Totoo yun. Anong gagawin mo sa 4 na araw? Di ba? Kung dati sa Pilipinas, you're working like 5 days a week, tapos 8 hours or 10 hours. OTTY pa. Dito talaga, and then ito yung maganda, ito yung maganda, isa sa maganda dito sa US na talagang ini-enjoy ko lately, yung overtime. Yung overtime nila dito, sobra, sobra, sobra. Sobra, sobra. Yun na lang yung word. Ayoko na sabihin, hindi na ako magsasabi ng figures, but when it comes sa sobra, sobra. If you work harder in the US, you will be rewarded. As in, yung reward nyo talaga, sobrang laki. And yun, talaga. Kaya, bilisan nyo na. Mag-apply na kayo, mag-review na kayo. Wag nang mag-horse around. Like, focus lang, secure your PD, pass that NCLEX exam and that IELTS. Tapos wait ka na lang till such time na okay na yung mag current na yung PD mo. And then yun na. Magiging mabilis na lang yan gaya ni Sir Mark, 'di ba? Sobrang bilis. Sabi niya nung nakaraan, Jen, current na yung PD ko. Tapos ngayon tapos na yung interview niya, 'di ba? So it's all about planning din talaga. Tsaka yun, kung makikita niyo naman siguro ngayon the way na sasabihin ko na talagang walang pagsisisi na nandito na ako sa US. Kahit okay na yung buhay ko sa UK. Pero yung opportunity talaga, ang dami. And excited lang ako na maggawa ko lahat yon in a matter of time na marami pa yung pwede mong gawin dito sa US. So, ayun.
Yun.
Yun lang
Thank you,
sa akin.
Jen. See you soon.
Sara, yung mga ha.
Ma'am Kim naman, any thoughts that you want to share sa audience natin sa Facebook and dito sa Zoom?
Sige, in addition dun sa sabi ni Sir Jeno, yeah, start early. Start early. Kung end game mo sa US, huwag ka nang magpatumpik-tumpik. Start your processing dito sa IPAS. Review ka. If any questions or may mga hesitations, may mga confusions ka, may anxiety ka, IPAS is here to give you the full package. May coaching sessions kami. I'm one of the coaches. We are here to guide you, to be with you every step of the way. May mga anxiety management that is done every month to help those who are going to take the exam. And then kung gusto mo talaga na everyday si coach kasi nga you're very parang marami ka pang tanong or walang problema, the coaches are here to help you. And of course, yung ating mga very experienced na mga educators. So yun, IPAS is an all-in-one package. So kaya kami, we're products of IPAS. Yun naman ang sabi ko. So yeah, and then one note to give you be in a circle of like-minded people. Yung pareho kayo ng goal, dun ka, stick to those circle. Kasi mahirap na ito yung goal mo and then you are in a circle na it draws negativity on those aspects. So be in a circle of like-minded people. Involve yourself dun sa mga tawag nito, take advantage dun sa waiting season, kumbaga. Kung example, nakapasa ka na, kung may PD ka na at hindi pa current, i-take advantage mo to be productive, like yun nga, do the certification, BLS, ACLS, cannulation, IV nurse, ganun, para at least when you come here, you are very well equipped sa skills at sa knowledge. Yung magagamit mo yun.
Yun.
Yes.
Very well said, Miss Kim.
Yes.
Thank you. And of course, any last thoughts from Sir Jay and Ma'am Rach before we close this discussion?
Ladies first.
Di ako lady So, to everybody out there, either you are in Facebook, either you are in TikTok or whatever platform that you're watching us, you're here in our Zoom. If you haven't started on your application, we really encourage you to get started on your application because as we're always saying, nagkakaroon ng changes, guys. Ito lang, nagkakaroon ng changes ng fees, nagkakaroon ng changes ang policies ng Board of Nursing. Now, they are very lenient with regards to the application. And every year yan, nagkakaroon ng change ng fees. Definitely, tumataas yung cost of living, right? Tumataas yung operational expense ng board or service provider. So, there's always a cost that will be involved there. And it would be better na mag-start tayo because now na lenient pa yung policies nila. Then, hindi pa kailangan na mag English examination during the time that you will be starting your application. Later na yan. At kung ano-ano pa yung mga kailangan nila. So there are boards of nursing na kailangan ng social security number na hindi ka maka-apply, hindi ka ma-approve na application unless you have your social security number. Meron mga ganun na board of nursing. Kaya pipiliin natin yung board of nursing na easier for us to be approved on our application. So guys, yun yung isipin natin. And kung goal mo naman talaga na pupunta ng USA, okay, let's get started. Let's do all the processes na kailangan natin para yun yung sinabi ni Ms. Kim earlier na hintayin na lang natin na mag-current na yung priority date. One thing that I'd like to highlight, hindi makamove forward yung recruitment agency na applyan nyo later on unless you have your NCLEX. Hindi kayo mapafile nung I-140 na sinasabi ni Ms. Kim. Okay? So, hindi matutupad yung pangarap natin if hindi tayo magsisimula. Hindi pwedeng plano-plano lang. Dapat may ginagawa tayo. Okay? Hindi pwedeng plano-plano lang. Dapat magko-comply tayo ng mga documents na kailangan natin i-submit. So, one thing that I'd like to encourage everybody, start early so long as you're capable of starting so that we can already move forward with your next steps. And we are here in IPAS Processing. We are here in IPAS Honor Review and Mentoring Academy to guide you all throughout kung ano man yung kailangan mo from your application with your review program. We are providing that here in IPAS and even the steps to moving forward after you are done with your NCLEX. So yung service natin, end-to-end service until you'll be able to achieve your American goals. Just like as si Ma'am Kim dati-rate, si Sir Jeno dati-rate, they're just dreaming about it. Now they are already living their dream because they executed kung ano yung pinlano nila before na nasa isip lang nila. Hindi puro-purong plano lang. In-execute nila. At they took action on those that they have planned. So, ganun yung gagawin natin. For you to also be able to achieve your goals. Ayan. Kay Sir Jay.
Nako, hirap sundan ang mga messages ninyo na super galing, no? Mahirap pag ikaw yung ikaw yung sunod, no? Well, I agree. I can only say na gawin nyo na yan kasi you know what, procrastination, as I'm always saying, procrastination is the master thief. I-steal niya yung nyo, nanakawin niya yung opportunities ninyo, guys. So, you do it now. If you have the opportunities, if you have resources, if you have, many things na nandyan sa'yo, like support system and stuff, and then you do it now. Pa-process ka and then eventually review. It's just a matter of sacrifices lang din yan siya eh. Like 3 months, 6 months, and then later did you know na pasado ko na ng NCLEX. And then that NCLEX hindi na mawawala sa iyo yan. Magiging permanent na yan siya. Diba? Like that kind of success. And eventually, hindi mo alam nandito ka na sa US. Talking of course being here in IPAS for quite many years already. So, yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Please do not procrastinate. And also talking as a person na nandito sa US, not just being an educator, you know what? I am more than blessed. I am blessed than ever. Kumbaga, hindi ko makita yung sarili ko kung nasa Pilipinas ako, nasa Saudi ako, or wherever. Sometimes you realize that, for example, especially ngayon, mataas ang inflation and stuff. Like, mahirap ang buhay ngayon. Pero, at the end of the day, you realize na, well, I have a new car. I have a big house. I mean, not a big house though. I have a decent house. We have 2 cars. Like, this is not about bragging though. This is about blessing na natatanggap natin. If we did not execute that kind of plan, alam ko hindi matutupad yun siya. Alright? So, sabi ko nga, I'm so blessed more than ever talaga. Because I have these things. I have my wife with me. And probably sooner or later in God's time, I have my probably like my family na siguro, like extending. I have my parents here who is also gaining something from the benefits that they have. Isa yun sa mga goal ko rin eh. It might not be the perfect healthcare system just like any other countries. But the thing is, whether you like the benefits here or not, the healthcare benefits here or not, wala naman silang binabayaran. So, ano pang hihingin ko? Like compared to like in the Philippines that, everything's expensive, right? The medications are very expensive. But dito, wala mo silang binabayaran. Probably a little. But again, like I said, this is not just about, I'm always telling this is not just about my success. This is about the success of your family. So, for the people na, yung mahal mo sa buhay. Si Jeno, alam ko, may anak yan. Si Kim, may anak yan. May asawa. And then, they're actually living their dreams, right? It might not be literally the land of milk and honey kasi alam ko sa Saudi Arabia, because I worked there before, mas marami pang ang milk and honey doon eh, di ba? But, well, that's a hyper, ano ba tawag dyan? Medyo ano yan siya. But then, like I said, I am so blessed. And I'm so thankful na nakikinig kayo dito. I'm doing this. We are doing this. Not just because of something. This is because we wanted to share what we have as well. Kasi napakasarap pakinggan whenever I see students na nandito na sa Amerika and then texting me, "Sir, nandito na ako sa sa airport." And some of them actually met me already. Can you imagine that? And then randomly, nagkita kami sa church. O di picture, mga ganong bagay ba? And then dati sa sa Zoom lang, di ba? So hindi natin pero those things. And I'm so grateful to God kasi we kind of experienced that blessing sa buhay natin. And it's a matter of time. You'll be here someday. Okay?
Okay, ayun. So, thank you, Sir J, Ma'am Rachel, for those words, no? So, again, no? So, if you want to do your processing for your NCLEX and if you want to review for the NCLEX, no? So, IPAS Online Review and Mentoring Academy and IPAS Processing is here for all your NCLEX needs. Kaka-start lang ng aming 20th cycle nung Monday. So, kung sino pa yung gustong humabol, pwede pa kayong humabol. You can enroll anytime, no? You can enroll anytime, no? So, marami kaming mga offers. Yan, marami kaming discounts and all. So, especially yung ngayon na Christmas season. Ayan, so grab that opportunity. Just message us sa IPAS processing page namin. And yun, we hope to see you in our classes. We hope to see you soon in the US na. And tawag dito, wag nang magpatumpik-tumpik pa. Ayan, magpa-process na kayo and mag-enroll na kayo sa IPAS, no? Alright? So this is a wonderful discussion this morning. Marami tayong natutunan. So thank you to all our Facebook live audience, and of course, no, dito sa aming Zoom, hindi tayo nananatili tayong 42 kanina. Ayun, so nagstay. So yeah. So ayan. So good luck everyone. God bless and good morning sa inyong lahat. Goodbye.